It's the Danny Thomas Show. Starring Danny Thomas. With Danny's guests. Andy Griffith. Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks. The George Wilde Singers. The Earl Barton Dancers. Frank Gobel and his orchestra. And special guest star, Mary Tyler Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, the Danny Thomas Show.
When you're down and out, lift up your head, reach out, there's gonna be a great day. Angels in the sky promise that by and by there's gonna be a great day.
A fling. I'm gonna live until I die.
You see what you're wonderful, you lovely you. You completely satisfy. I'm confessing that is why there's nobody but you.
Gabriel will warn you, some early morning will hear his horn.
It's a victorious, happy and glorious stream.
The blues will lay low, I'll make them stay low. They'll never trail over my head.
I swear by stars above me, I'm done if I don't feel like writing a song about
angels in the sky promising by and by.
Now that my troubles are
depends upon you.
Never till I'm an angel.
You'll hear a tuneful story ringing through ya.
You will hear his horn, Rudy tootin'.
Gone, let those heavenly
angels in the sky promise that by and by.
Will it be my fate at all? Will I ever have a ball?
Take the town and turn it upside down. It's gonna
rain.
Sky.
Take the town and turn it
right into one
story.
Swear by stars above me, I'm
gone.
Lovely you.
I'm gonna live.
And now
it's not far away.
Nobody but
you.
You.
I.
Me.
You.
Great day.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your applause. And I especially thank you in behalf of not only the stars, but the singers and the dancers, the musicians who rarely have a chance to take a bow. You know, you have no idea how much applause means to a performer. It's such a marvelous sound, and marvelous doesn't describe it. It's a magical thing. I remember many years ago, the great immortal for me, Al Jolson, said to me, he said, son, when they're applauding you, bathe in it. There's something about that sound. Once you've heard it, you can't live without it. I mean, how many times have you heard a master of ceremonies say, let's give the kid a big hand. It'll make him feel good. Well, it does, you know. I'll never forget the first big hand I got. It happened the day I was born. Boy, that doctor had a good right, I want to tell you. And I liked it. I swear, I loved it. I did 15 minutes of gurgles. Oh, I was a big hit. I had the other kids in the nursery just screaming at me. Right away, I knew I wanted to be a comedian, because when the people looked at me through the window, they all laughed. I guess with this beak, didn't know whether I was the baby or the stork. Because that was a few years ago in Deerfield, Michigan. I didn't know I wanted to be an entertainer until I moved away from Deerfield, because it's a very small town. They didn't have much in the way of entertainment. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean they didn't have fun. They had lots of fun, because in small towns, they have ways of entertaining themselves. My grandfather invented a game in Deerfield, was the talk of Lower Michigan. And he used to play this game with my father and my uncle every Saturday night. What a game. The three of them would go into the barn, and they'd take 2 gallons of corn liquor with them, and they would drink it all. Then one of them would get up and leave. Then the other 2 had to guess who left. I think the most exciting thing that ever happened in my hometown of Deerfield, Michigan, was when the first railroad train came through the town. Everybody was talking about the progress, and they all came down. The whole town turned out on buckboards and horseback and some on foot. Everybody was there, and this train came through the town the first time we ever saw a railroad train. Freight train, 40 cars. And boy, she came through that town huffing and puffing and spitting cinders and smoke, and she shook the earth as she went through, and everybody got up and applauded like crazy, except my grandfather. And my father turned to my grandfather and he said, "What's the matter, Pop? Why aren't you applauding? That's progress." And Grandpa said, "Progress, my foot. That thing ever comes in sideways, it'll wipe out the town." And it was that very train that took me out of Deerfield in search of the magical sound of applause. And right now, I'd like to have you meet a young fellow who's starting this search right here on our show. He has never heard professional applause before in his whole life. His name is Guy Apollo. He's another one of our teenage contest winners. On previous shows, you've met winners, the winner from the East, the winners from the Middle West. Well, tonight, you're meeting the winner from the Far West, chosen through the cooperation of that great radio station, KFWB, right here in Los Angeles. And like the master of ceremonies said, let's give the kid a big hand. It'll make him feel good. Guy Apollo, what do you say?
Penso che un sogno così non ritorni mai più. Mi dipingevo le mani, le facce di blu. Poi d'improvviso venivo dal vento rapito e incominciavi a volare nel cielo infinito. Volare, cantare, let's fly way up to the clouds, well away from the maddening crowds. Let us sing in a glow of a star that I know of, will love and joy is mine. Let us leave this confusion and all this illusion behind. Just like birds of a feather, a rainbow together we'll find. Volare, cantare, well, no wonder my happy heart sings. Your love has given me wings. Volare, cantare. No wonder my happy heart sings. Your love has given me wings, little baby. Your love has given me wings. Volare, your love has given me wings. Volare.
How does it feel hearing professional applause for the first time?
Great, Mr. Thomas.
I'm glad. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot more. I want to wish you a lot of luck, guy.
Well, thank you very
God
much.
bless you. Congratulations. Thank you. And good luck to all the teenage winners who've appeared on our show. As you young people all over America know, this was not such a big thing I did, but I tried in some small measure to say thank you to the hundreds of thousands of teenagers who participate in my Teenagers March against catastrophic diseases in children that keeps the laboratories of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital alive. Bless you for what you've done. Thank you all. If you're wondering why this schoolroom's set, it's to make one of our guest stars feel more at home. You see, Andy Griffith wasn't always Andy Taylor, Sheriff of Mayberry. As a matter of fact, he wasn't always Andy Griffith, comedian. He was originally Andrew S. Griffith, school teacher in Goldsboro, North Carolina. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, my good friend and partner, the Sheriff of Mayberry, Andy Griffith. Hey! I appreciate it. I love the way you say that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Tell me, Andy, why did you get out of the classroom, and what made you get out of the classroom and go on the stage?
My students. Well, that's right. They did an awful lot of laughing and very little learning.
You can just bet Andy Griffith was a very entertaining teacher. And he got his first taste for applause on one of his now very famous lectures. Teacher, it's all yours.
All right. Class, boys and girls, my lecture for today is on the discovery of America. Now, a long, long, long time ago, over in the old country, over there in Italy, they lived this, I appreciate it. They lived this sailor, and his name was Christopher Columbus. And he was a navigator. Now, you know what a navigator is. That's the fellow that tells you where to go. And he believed that the world was round. And he had this tattoo on his arm to prove it. And it was an anchor. And on the top, it said mother. And on the bottom, it said the world is round. And everybody thought he was a nut. They did. They used to sit around in front of the barber shop, and they'd say, here comes Crazy Chrissy. Let's get him to tell us how the world's round. Say, hey, Crazy Chrissy, how's the old round world treating you? He'd show him his tattoo to shut him up, see. Well, it happened. It happened that he was planning this trip around the world anyhow, because he never had been to camp or anything. And so he went over to see the King and Queen of Spain to get the money to finance the trip. And their names was Ferdinand and Isabella. And their mamas named them that because they never had liked them much anyhow. And now Isabella, the queen, she thought that Columbus was crazy too, but she always had liked sailors. And so when he told them about how the world was round, she says, Ferdinand, what you think of that? And Ferdinand is looking off up at the ceiling, trying to act like he wasn't listening. She says, Ferdinand, I said, what you think of that? He kept looking at the ceiling. She says, Ferd. She says, I said, what you think of that? He says, I think there's an awful lot of flies in the castle today. She says, Columbus, don't you pay no attention to him. Says, me and you'll go in the counting room. And when they got in there, she says, I'll give you the money if you'll let me see your tattoo. And he showed it to her. And she started to touch it. And he says, don't touch it where it says mother. And I appreciate it. She give him the money. See, she give him the money, and he bought the ships and sailed across the Atlantic Ocean and discovered America. Columbus did. Which only goes to prove, if you've got a dream in your heart and a tattoo on your arm, someday they may name a city in Ohio after you.
Dandy's search for applause began in a schoolroom in North Carolina. Of course, that's a bit unusual. Generally, it starts in a place like this, a plain, cold, impersonal stage. And it's the setting for the moment of truth, the audition. You're alone. I mean, all alone. I've been there, I know. Of course, there are a lot of people around, but you're still all alone. Just you, facing what you hope will be a big future. But first, you have to face an overworked, grouchy producer, like this. My coat, please. All right, bring the girls on. Let's pick a leading lady. No, never mind the sketches. Let's get the leading lady first. You, miss. Come on. What's your name? You.
My name is Joy Wilkerson.
Never mind. You're too short. Next, please. Next. You're too tall, kid. Next. You. Yeah, with the dress. Come forward. What's your name, please?
It's Mimsy Bissell.
Would you mind speaking up, please?
Mimsy Bissell?
Would you raise your voice a little?
Mimsy Bissell!
What are you shouting about?
Sorry, it's just that I thought that you couldn't, it's, Mimsy Bissell.
Now, you know the part you're to read, Miss Bissell.
Yes, the little sister.
Fine. Would you read that for us, please? It's on page 9. Right here. Wait a minute. What's that?
My glasses.
You wear glasses?
Oh, well, only for reading.
Oh.
And seeing. Sometimes.
Look, I'm afraid you won't do. You see, the kid sister in this play is a stripper.
Oh, well, I can take them off. I meant my glasses.
Read the part.
Mother, I'm sick and tired of being a stripper. I'm going to medical school. From now on, there'll be no more Miss Honey Bumper. Tomorrow, it'll be Dr. Honey Bumper.
Get off the stage. Just leave your address. We'll call you if something comes up. Next, please.
Sir?
If you don't mind, please, get off the stage.
Do you mind if I say something?
Look, I'm trying to hold an audition here.
Well, I don't think you're a very nice audition holder.
Nice audition holder?
Sir, I want you to know that my mother and father spent a lot of money on my lessons and my teeth. Boy, I hope someday somebody you love has to go through this.
Now, wait a minute. Now, please, don't cry. Look, I love you. I love every... Oh, for gosh sakes. Look, Miss,
Mimsy?
Mimsy. Oh, come on, lady. What do you want from me?
Just a chance. Just a fair chance to do good.
All right. Stop crying. What do you want?
Well, I'd like some lights. Maybe 2. And could I have some boys to dance with? And could I have some more lights? And, I'd love a big orchestra. Yeah, like that. And a big spotlight. Wow, if my mother and father could see me now.
Good. Now, what are you going to do?
Well, I don't know. But I'll think of something. I will.
a formal introduction, please, for our guest star, Mary Tyler Moore. I gotta say, Mimsy, you were great in that audition.
Oh, thank you, Daddy.
But I gotta tell you folks about one audition that Mary really flunked.
Yeah, but it was his fault.
That's true, it was. A few years ago, we auditioned a lot of young girls to play the part of my older daughter, Terry, in the family series. And Mary was one of the 2 finalists, but it was left to me to have to tell her that she wasn't right for the part. And I'd like you to see why she wasn't right for the part. Come here. Now, tell the truth. Would anybody believe that that nose could be the father of that nose?
I offered to have it fixed.
She really did, she did. But I wouldn't go through with the operation.
Oh.
As you know, it all turned out very well. A couple of years later, we were looking for a girl to play Dick Van Dyke's wife, and I remembered her, and I said, hey, let's get that kid with the funny nose.
And we all lived happily ever after.
True.
Thanks to my lucky bracelet.
Oh, come on, Mary. You're not still superstitious.
Yeah,
Oh,
superstitious.
Mary, shame on you.
Well,
But I'll tell you, I don't care. After that wonderful number you did and the great job you do on the Van Dyke show, I don't care if you're superstitious or not. I gotta say you're adorable and a very talented young lady. Isn't that true? Oh, no! Wait, no! Stop! Stop, you only make it cold. I thought you said you were superstitious.
Well, I am.
Oh, Mary,
What's the
for heaven's sake,
matter?
don't you know if you kiss a Lebanese actor who's wearing a tuxedo while the audience is applauding, you'll turn into a camel?
Oh, I never heard that one.
Well, it doesn't happen very often.
I'll turn into a camel?
That's right.
Danny, what should I do?
There's only one way to break the curse. You gotta run around the block 9 times, then run home and bake a lasagna.
Well, will it work?
Well, if it doesn't, I'll eat the lasagna.
Oh, come on. What about me?
Don't be silly. Camels don't eat lasagna.
Oh, Daddy.
Go on, start running, pal. You gotta break that curse. Get
I'll
out of here.
try.
Run.
What, Mary, what's your hurry?
I don't want to be a camel.
I'll go along with that. Hey, Danny, listen.
Yeah.
I always wanted to ask you, why didn't you ever think of Mary for my show?
Oh, let me see. Now, Andy, you know when we started your series, you were the one who said you didn't want to have a wife in the series, and we all agreed, no wife for you.
Well, I know, but she could have been my mother.
Now, who would believe Mary Tyler Moore would be your mother?
Well, I got to tell you one thing, we don't have a nose problem.
Could we change the subject and get back to the theme of the show? Applause.
You're right. I was kidding you. I was just putting you on. You know, there is one thing that you're overlooking that does get applause.
What's that?
Country music.
Oh, we can't overlook country music. After all, it is one of the biggest sellers of all time in the music field and gets bigger every day.
You better know it.
And,
Well, do you mind if I try a country song?
Andy, I got Frank DeVault and a 35-piece orchestra.
No. Too many people. Too many people.
What?
I just brought a few friends. Could we open the curtains? Huh? Danny, ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to the Stoneman family.
You really gonna sing with them?
Yeah, see, there's not enough of us to play baseball. Down the road from me, there's an old hollow tree where you lay down $1 or two. Where you go round the bend and you come back again, get a jug full of good old Mountain Dew. Oh, they call it that good old Mountain Dew, and them that refuse it a few. Well, I'll shut up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Well, the deacon come by with his head high, said his wife had come down with the flu. And he thought that I ought to give him a quart of that good old Mountain Dew. Ronnie! Well, my Uncle Maury, Lord, he sawed off and short, he measures about 4'2". But he thinks he's a giant when you give him a pint of that good old Mountain Dew. Oh, they call it that good old Mountain Dew.
Hey, let's do one together.
You want to do one together?
I'd love it.
Listen, let's get Mary in on it, too.
Mary.
Mary?
Oh,
Mary Tyler.
Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah,
will
bring
you?
Mary out here. Bless her heart, she'll just love you.
Mary, I told you, sweetheart, go and bake a lasagna right away, will you? And take that silly bracelet off. It doesn't do you any good.
Danny, that's Mary?
That's Mary.
Oh.
Don't worry, she'll be all right.
Well, I hope so, because that pretty girl sure makes an ugly camel.
Well, look, as soon as she bakes that lasagna, she'll be fine. Now, how about us singing something together, huh?
Oh, well, what do you know that we know?
Let me see. I'm down in Deerfield. We used to sing a crawdad hole. You know crawdad hole?
Oh, do we know the crawdad hole? Kick that off, Ronnie.
Let me hear it.
You get a line, I'll get a pole, honey. You get a line, I'll get a pole, babe. You get a line, I'll get a pole. We go down to the crawdad hole, honey, baby mine. Well, get up, Kate, you slept too late, honey.
Get up, Kate, you slept too late, baby.
That's right.
Get up, Kate, you slept too late. Crawdad man up at your gate, honey, baby mine. You get a line, I'll get a pole, honey. You get a line, I'll get a pole, babe. You get a line, I'll get a pole. We go down to the crawdad hole, honey, baby mine.
What you gonna do when the creek runs dry, honey?
What you gonna do when the creek runs dry, my babe? What you gonna do when the creek runs dry? Sit on the bank, let the crawdad die, honey, baby mine.
Dang.
What you gonna do when the crawdads die, honey? What you gonna do when the crawdads die, babe? What you gonna do when the crawdads die? Sit on the bank until I cry, honey, baby mine. What you gonna do when the crawdads die? Sit on the bank until I cry, honey, baby mine.
As long as we're devoting this show to what people applaud, I thought it would be a good idea to find out how applause began. And to do that, we naturally called upon the 2,000-year-old man, Mel Brooks, interviewed by his personal physician, Carl Reiner. And here they are.
Sir, it is a pleasure to have you here tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be anywhere. At my age, it's a pleasure just to inhale.
Sir, before we get down to the subject of applause, I'm sure everybody is interested in knowing how you have lived to be 2,000 years old. What has kept you alive for 2,000 years?
Sneezing.
Sneezing?
Sneezing, yes.
Sneezing?
I sneeze 1,100 times a day.
Well, how has that kept you alive?
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll prove it to your face if it keeps me alive.
Bless you, sir.
See?
See what?
You said bless you.
Yes.
1,100 bless yous, Charlie. You covered.
Sir, people always showed approval 2,000 years ago even by clapping their hands together to...
That's puny. That's puny. That's not applause. 2,000 years ago, we used to hurl ourselves into it. We loved it.
How did you applaud 2,000 years ago?
Hold my cane.
Yes.
Thank you. You'll give me back later.
Yes, I'll give it to you.
Now, I'll show you how we applauded 2,000 years ago when we love somebody. Now, help me out.
Yes.
Inspire me to a little applause.
How?
Do anything, something, a song, a dance, but I'm a pushover. I don't care what you do. You'll get applause, but I love show business. Go
Okay.
ahead.
This is silly, but all right. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky.
I don't feel it.
I really, I mean...
I'll tell you what.
What?
You're not such a good twinkler, so why don't you just hit a high note? A high note. it works for Caruso, it'll work for you.
Yes.
Just a nice high
Just a
note,
high
and I'll
note.
show you how we applauded 2,000 years ago.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, that's great.
What?
You see what I did?
What did you do?
That's just how we applauded. We grabbed
You mean you
our
hit
face.
your face?
Oh, we hit our faces.
Doesn't that-
Oh, did we smack our faces?
Doesn't that hurt?
Oh, we used to knock our brains out when we loved somebody.
So how did it finally develop to this?
Murray the Coward.
How did that come about?
He loved show business and he loved his face.
Yes.
He was torn up. He didn't know what to do. So once, when one of the greatest entertainers 2,000 years ago came to play his cage.
By the way, who was that?
Sammy Davis Sr. So Murray the Coward pulled his face out of the applause.
Would you demonstrate that?
Hit a high note again. Terrific. See? Terrific. See? See, and other people said, hey, it works. He didn't hurt his face. Nobody got hurt. Hundreds of people started to pull their faces out of the applause. And nations, entire nations, pulled their faces out of the applause. It was fantastic.
That's marvelous.
But I love the old-fashioned
Yes.
applause. I love that.
It is.
Oh,
it
do
is-
hit that high note again.
Ah!
I love it.
Don't hurt yourself.
Oh, I love that.
Sir.
I can't hear you.
You applauded too far back,
Yes.
I think.
Murray the Coward may have had something.
You must applaud forward and nearer the nose. Sir, where did the word applause come from?
From the Latin. Everything good springs from the Latin. You've got Dolores Del Rio, whatever.
But where did the word applause? I mean, what is the derivation in Latin?
In the Latin, if they didn't like an act.
The Latins.
The old Latins, if they didn't like an act, they would yell out, a minus, a minus.
A minus?
And if they loved somebody, they would yell, a plus, a plus.
Hence applause. I see. I tell you, sir, that is very interesting. Sir, performers have been said to have butterflies in their stomach when they are nervous about performing. Where did the term butterflies in the stomach come from?
Sure, do I go now?
No, where did the term butterflies come from?
From thousands of years ago, you couldn't eat heavy and then do a show.
Well, that's the same thing today. Performers still like to have a light bite.
Yeah, but if you ate a dinosaur cutlet and then try to dance,
Today we don't eat steaks before it.
But today, you have luncheonettes. You can get cottage cheese. There was nothing 2,000. If you ate a little rock with water, it was a meal.
Yes.
So the only thing we could eat before a show was butterflies. We'd grab
No, you don't mean. No, you don't mean they actually ate butterflies.
Sure we ate
You
them.
ate butterflies?
Hundreds of butterflies.
Did you actually eat a butterfly?
Yes, I did.
You ate butterflies?
Yes.
What do they taste like?
How do they taste like? What could they taste like that would mean something to you? A butterfly, it tastes a lot like a moth. That's the theme of this show is applause.
Right, but
so let's get out with some applause.
Well, how do you want me to sing another high note?
No, do me a favor. I'll do my famous double somersault. I'll kill the people, but they'll just throw their heads at me.
Okay. All right.
Listen,
What
ready?
should I do?
Give me a boost.
A boost,
Yeah,
yes. Like
double
this?
somersault.
Okay.
Never leave your eyes off your face for this. And one, and two, and wait. Let's reconsider. I'm not as young as I used to be. Can I have my
I'm sorry.
Let's do a little Jolson because Jolie always gets a little applause. Juanita, how I love you, boy. Hold it.
What's the matter?
I'm an old-fashioned performer. I'd like a little old-fashioned applause. Let's put your faces into it, folks. Here we go again. Juanita, how I love you,
Everybody. Let's see it out. Let's hear it out there.
Thank you, Carl and Mel. It was very enlightening. I'm sure we all know a little less than we did before. You know, in any entertainment, the biggest applause getters are generally the impersonators. People just love them. Of course, I'm not a very good impersonator, but I'd like to give you an impression of a fellow cigar smoker, one of the funniest men I know, the comedian's comedian, George Burns.
Boom, 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 down in the garden where the red roses grow. You know, when I sing, I really move an audience. Right out into the street.
That was great.
Thank you.
That
Thank you,
was
Andy.
just great. Could I do an impression of one of my favorites?
With one of your favorites.
Clark Gable.
Clark Gable.
Clark Gable.
Now, listen, sweetheart. Only a brave man can go in there. Now, I'll see if I can find one.
Not too bad. You know, for an ugly camel, you sure evermore make a pretty girl.
Can I do an impression?
I don't know, can you?
Sure.
Who do you do? Helen Hayes?
No.
Elizabeth Montgomery?
No,
Mary Tyler Moore?
No, no.
Who? What?
Jimmy Cagney.
Oh,
what?
you're kidding.
Jimmy Cagney.
All right. You dirty rats. Who did it? Who threw my palm tree overboard?
Hey. Hold my cigar.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You hold my cigar. She'll smoke it. Watch this one. Gary Cooper.
General, you got two choices. Either bring in a fresh battalion or get John Wayne.
You want that back?
Yeah.
Andy, do your impression of Alfred Hitchcock.
You do hit?
Yeah, watch this.
No
watch,
kidding.
watch,
Really?
watch this.
Okay.
Watch this. Alfred Hitchcock.
Here's poetic justice. My sponsor has a headache and doesn't know what to take for me.
Hey, I got a bill. Here's a bill. Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, no, let me do Bogey.
Well, she picks the weirdest ones.
Yeah,
Go
well,
ahead.
Humphrey Bogart.
All right, Bright Eyes, this is a stick-up. Hand over all the money you've got in your pocket.
Are you kidding? I'm Jag Benny, and I'm doing this show for nothing.
Who are you trying to kid, boss?
Gee, Mr. Benny, my mother says you're getting $100 for the show.
Oh, Dennis, shut up.
$100. All I got was a Dutch Master cigar.
Listen, kid. All I got was a dead Apache.
Apache, that's a secret, Ward. Give him $2.
Do you all enjoy that? Let's really hear it for them.
Hold it! Catch it! He caught it. I show you the true test of a real impressionist is not just to do the lines and sound like them, but to look like them as well.
And that's hard.
True.
What's this? My impression, back off a little. My impression of Walter Brennan.
All I can say is this is probably the worst impression of Walter Brennan that's ever been done.
You look just like him.
You didn't sound anything like him, though.
Come on.
Not a bit. Let me do one of my best impressions. May I?
Yeah.
Good buddy of mine,
Who?
Don Knotts.
Oh.
Now, when I get over, ask me if I'm nervous.
All right. Are you nervous? That's great.
Isn't it?
Really good.
Let me do one of my buddies.
Who's that?
This is going to be difficult, too. It's a double.
A double?
Ladies and gentlemen, my impression of Dick Van Dyke doing his impression of Stan Laurel.
Say, do you remember how dumb I used to be? Well, I'm better now.
If we're going to play Can You Top This, I will do a triple. My impression of Bill Dana doing his impression of Jose Jimenez doing his impression of Cary Grant. Step away, this takes a lot of room.
You're the image of Bill Dana.
Isn't he?
Thank you very much. My name is Jose Jimenez. And now do my impersonation of Cary Grant. Hoody, hoody, hoody.
Gee, that was really terrible.
It was awful.
Nobody's perfect. Actually, Cary Grant's not my best impression. Want me to do Rex Harrison?
Yeah.
Okay. The rain in Spain, stay mainly on your plane.
Well, Grove, I think he's got it.
George Gobel's sneak in there.
Oh, sometimes I just lose control. I lose so many.
Can I borrow the handkerchief?
Another impression?
Oh, no, I was planning to sneeze.
Oh.
Oh, listen, I got one.
What?
My impression of Huntley and Brinkley.
Oh, here, I'll sneeze later.
Oh, good of you. Huntley and Brinkley.
Good night, David. Good night, Chet.
That's the worst impression I ever saw in my whole life.
You don't look like either one of them, you know that?
What'd you expect, the real people?
Impersonation that nobody thought of.
What is it?
You watch and see.
What? Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we've tried to present what I hope was a pretty good cross-section of what America applauds. But now let's talk about the greatest applause getter of them all. Since the day she was born, she's been getting the biggest hand. And please God, may it always be. But let's not just talk about her, let's sing about her.
You're a grand old flag. You're a high-flying flag. And forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave.
has been brought to you by Timex, world's largest manufacturer of watches. More people buy Timex than any other watch in the world. And Consolidated Cigar Corporation, makers of Muriel cigars.
Why don't you pick one up and smoke it sometime?
This is Danny Thomas saying thanks to that fine impersonator, Rich Little, for loaning us all those voices tonight. And special thanks to all the great stars that did such good impressions of themselves.